Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Couchbrotatopodcast. We are finishing up our month-long tribute to all things scary with an all-time classic. That's right, boys and girls. We are doing John Carpenter's 1978 horror classic Halloween. And to commemorate the occasion, we've got a very special guest joining the show for the first time, and hopefully not the last, our good friend Matt, bass player from the up-and-coming metal band Faith and Failure, is going to join me and producer Adam to talk about this masterpiece of horror. So, after the trailer, the Couch Potato Podcast presents to you Halloween.
The one, the only, the classic Halloween.
I think he'll come back.
Halloween, the night he came home. Rated R.
All right, joined by producer Adam and a first-time guest on the show, the bass player for the hot up-and-coming, I guess up-and-coming is not the right word. You guys are pretty hot right now.
Yeah.
Our good friend Matt Keeton. Matt, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for having me on here.
No problem. I just realized I flubbed your fucking intro. The greatest bass player in the rock and roll world since Geddy Lee.
Ooh, that's a compliment.
John Paul Jones.
Ooh,
I'm showing my age. I'd say a modern day Cliff Burton.
Ooh, well,
Matt Keaton.
That's some big shoes to fill.
Well, you're filling them well, my friend.
That's true. That's true.
We have gathered today to discuss a movie that we all enjoy, John Carpenter's 1978 Halloween classic, Halloween. And for those of you that have not seen this, I don't know what your problem is. This movie is so old, it's almost ready to go on Social Security. But if you want to know what the fuck this movie is about, 15 years after murdering his sister on Halloween night, 1963, Michael Myers escapes from a mental hospital and returns to the small town of Haddonfield, Illinois to kill again. Pretty self-explanatory. Pretty simple premise. Just wanted to ask you guys, first time seeing this movie. Matt, since you're our first-time guest, I'll lead off with you. What was your first experience with Halloween?
I remember from what I remember, I was a teenager. Couldn't tell you exactly how old. But I remember watching it, and I wasn't quite sure what was happening until you first see Michael kind of come on the screen in his infamous white mask and everything. And I was like, oh, this is kind of scary. This is pretty creepy because he's not saying anything. He's not doing anything. He's moving slow and kind of, just very intimidating. But I was so enthralled by watching it, I had to keep going. And then I found out that there were more movies, and I was like, well, I've got quite a bit of library to go through here. But I remember watching it, and I was just so captivated by this guy who was on the screen that wasn't saying a word, but somehow was still able to catch your attention and everything that he was doing. So,
yeah. I kind of wish that I would have known you back then, because I could have saved you a lot of time by just like skipping a bunch of those Halloween movies.
Right, make recommendations and
yeah, just check out these. You'll be fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Adam, what about you, man? What was your first exposure to Halloween?
My first exposure to Halloween was on TV, like most movies around that era. I remember watching it. I think it was at my grandparents' house. I'm not too sure, but it being on TV, they cut out all the best parts.
Did you get the added scenes to it? Because I know when I was researching this, they added some extra scenes to fill TV time, and I have never seen that version of it.
No, I don't think I remember seeing that version either.
Really?
Yeah, maybe it was like a TV special or something they had on. I don't know. I've never seen that.
Well, I think they just, because the movie is like an hour and a half, I think at the most.
Mm-hmm.
And they added some, like when I was researching this, they added some scenes that really didn't add a whole lot to the movie itself, but they just put them in there to kind of fill TV time. And I've never seen that version of it. And I guess now you can't even find you can't even find any additions with that in there. It's strictly the theatrical release now. So I was just kind of curious to see if you'd seen it.
Nope, haven't seen that one. But I did get to watch the glorious edited version on TV, and then I decided, I'm going to watch this the right way. And I think it was around the time that DVD was out. It wasn't Blu-ray or anything yet. I was like, I'm going to get a DVD of this and watch it the right way.
So, Grandma didn't have to try to cover your eyes for the Linda and Bob scene.
Right.
Or maybe she's like, you know what, Adam, you're going to learn about it eventually anyways. Just go ahead. What he's doing right now is they're making a baby.
Right.
Interesting story. How I learned about the birds and the bees was this is no Halloween.
It's like, Grandma, does like after he's done, does he get killed? And if that doesn't scare you off from sex, I don't know what would.
It's like a praying mantis thing. Like, what's going on here? Like,
yeah.
Just like Michael Myers just standing over you, waiting for you to be done.
Yeah. And he's going to grab your glasses too if you wear glasses.
Of course.
I know for me, like, I seen this as a kid. It was like probably one of the 10 VHS tapes. I know I'm showing my age that we had at my house. And my mom scared shitless of The Mask. But she was enough of a trooper to watch that movie with us anyways. But yeah, like I had a replica mask on a mannequin head. And when I got married, I left it at home. And I said, when I get back from my honeymoon, I'm going to go grab it. And I got back, went to my mom's house, looked for that mask, and it mysteriously disappeared. She said, oh, you must have taken it with you and lost it. Well, she came clean like 5 years later, said she threw it away.
And yes, she tried to blame you for it. How about that?
Yeah. But, I mean, like, I fucking loved it when I seen it as a kid. I think what I liked about Michael Myers is you kind of don't, like, most of the notorious, like, slasher villains, they kind of know the premise of why they're doing what they're doing. Michael Myers, you really don't at first. He just kind of, like, is just this relentless killing machine, and that kind of made him cool to me.
I might have a hot take on that a little bit later on.
Okay, as long as you're not shitting on it, dude, because we've had enough episodes this month of people shitting on beloved movies of mine. Well, I do have a question for you, gentlemen. A lot of people consider this to be at least on their Mount Rushmore of horror movies. For me personally, this is, to me, my favorite horror movie of all time. But I wanted to get your guys' take on it first. Greatest horror movie of all time, top 5, Mount Rushmore at least. What do you guys think?
Top 5. Yeah, for sure.
I would definitely say top 5. Definitely one of the most iconic horror Halloween slasher movies to ever exist.
Yeah, like, what do you guys think the way you do, just out of curiosity?
I think that this movie does a lot more for the slasher genre than a lot of people give it credit for. I mean, I know it's like, the granddaddy of slasher films, at least modern ones. But I think that just the premise is so much different than the modern slasher movies. It takes into account like your fear of the unknown, and I really, really like that, because a lot of modern slasher movies, like you said before, this isn't my hot take, but they'll explain to you the killer's motivations, and there will be this big intricate story. This one doesn't have that. It's simplistic and it's scary, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, I was just say, kind of bouncing off what Adam said. Like, I think it's kind of like, at least for me, it's kind of like it develops in a way similar to like what Alien did, where it actually has a lot of development behind it, but then there's this killer that doesn't make a noise. Typically, he said he doesn't talk, he doesn't call anything out, he's just there, and he's always watching you. So you never, like, when you're watching the movie, there's no real like jump scare person. I mean, there are, but like there's not like what you see in a lot of modern horror movies. And one thing that I notice a lot in a lot of modern horror movies is you'll always know when something's going to happen because they're playing some sort of music or there's some sort of suspenseful thing or you'll hear a build up. But in watching that movie, it's just things just kind of happened. But there's always this creepy dude in a white mask that's just stalking you around every corner. And I can't say it's completely believable, but it almost kind of is, which I think adds to more of the horror element as this crazy guy that's going around a neighborhood, stalking babysitters and killing them and all that with no real premise.
Mhm.
He's just doing it.
Yeah, I always thought that they really, like you said, like they really create, like it's not so much jump scares, it's suspense that they create.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's, like you said, it just lacks in horror movies nowadays. It's like you said, like you automatically know what's going to happen before it happens.
It's got a heavy tension to it, which you don't really see a lot of in a lot of modern day horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
I consider it probably the greatest horror movie of all time because I think for me it ushered in like probably the most popular era of horror movies is the slasher from the 80s. I mean, eventually it killed itself out, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it has so many imitations, so many creations like Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Chucky, all those guys come out of what Halloween started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good stuff, guys. I know for me personally, though, yeah, like this movie gets watched every year. I don't know. Is it a Halloween tradition for you fellas?
Yeah. I would say it's a pretty big Halloween tradition, for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, same for me. I tend to watch, or at least we try to watch a lot of the, like you said, like a lot of the iconic ones like Halloween, Friday the 13th, Chucky, a lot of those, but Halloween typically gets put in the mix at least every year.
I notice AMC now does kind of like what TBS does with A Christmas Story. They play the Halloween movies pretty much Halloween night, which I was telling you guys beforehand. Yeah, it was on last night, and then this morning when I woke up, Halloween was ending. And it used to be like... Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I say the thing that drives me nuts is they don't always play them in order. If you've ever noticed, like they'll play them in completely random order, and it drives me nuts.
They have it on shuffle.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, last night they had 1, 2, and then it jumped to like 6, and I think 5 was on after that. Like, wait a minute, guys, come on.
Come on.
AMC?
There's other movies.
AMC owns Shudder. Shudder is a fantastic horror streaming site. Like, have Joe Bob Briggs just fucking program it or something. All right, well, if you guys are ready, we'll jump into the categories here. I'm curious to get your thoughts on some of these. Before we begin, the tail of the tape. Halloween was released on October the 25th, 1978. This stars Jamie Lee Curtis, Donald Pleasance, PJ Souls, and Nancy Loomis. Directed, of course, by John Carpenter. A Rotten Tomatoes score of 96% from critics and an 89% audience score. This movie has grossed $70 million on a $325,000 budget. Wow. And adjusted for inflation, that $70 million would actually be $225 million.
Damn.
This movie was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress, and you can currently watch Halloween on AMC Plus. So, good stuff. Matt, we like to begin each episode. We like to give the listeners some tidbits, some interesting facts about the movie, the behind-the-scenes stuff. Did you know is what we call this category. 2 masks were considered for the Michael Myers character. One was a Don Post Emmett Kelly clown mask, who I don't know who either one of those people are.
I'm not familiar.
Adam, you're the smartest. You're the smart one between the two of us. Who is Don Post or Emmett Kelly?
I have no idea.
All right, cool. They added frizzy red hair to it. Apparently, that kind of creeped out the producers. But then they found a William Shatner mask at a Hollywood Boulevard costume shop, paid $2 for it, ripped the eyebrows off and spray painted it white, and boom, a legend was born.
Mm-hmm.
John Carpenter considered the casting of Jamie Lee Curtis as his ultimate tribute to Alfred Hitchcock. And I don't know if you guys know this. I'm sure you do. You both are film fanatics just like I am. Jamie Lee's mom, Janet Leigh, was in Psycho. She's the lady who gets killed in the shower.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the Samuel Loomis character is a nod to the Sam Loomis character in Psycho as well.
That I did not know. That's cool.
No.
I've only seen Psycho like maybe twice. I know that's some people might frown upon that, but I think, I don't know, like I have to be in a mood to watch that movie.
Yeah.
I just can't oh, hey, let's watch Psycho tonight. Dennis Quaid, who was dating PJ Souls, who plays the Linda character, at the time of filming was supposed to play Bob, but was unable to do so due to filming another project. That would have, I'm sure he would have been chomping at the bit for the scene before he gets killed. The original title for this movie was The Babysitter Killers. It was supposed to take place over several days, but due to a limited budget, the script was reworked to have the film take place on Halloween night, which Carpenter said is the scariest day of the year. And, man, guy knows his stuff. I don't think this movie works if it's over a week.
No. That's part of the suspense thing. I think part of it, too, is because it is such a short time frame.
Yeah, because, like, I think, you kind of turn him into, like, he's not a monster. He becomes a serial killer at that point. Which, I mean, he is, but, like, I don't know, like, I think him just being, like, going on this killing spree over a night just kind of makes him more scary, I think.
Yeah, there's no sense of urgency to try and get rid of him.
Yeah, and plus we know by the brilliant police work of Sheriff Beckett and Donald Loomis, or Sam Loomis, that they're not exactly the greatest detectives either. Of the film's $300,000 budget, half was spent on the Panavision cameras to give the movie the 2x35x1 scope, which really comes into play on some of the scenes, especially the scene when Jamie Lee thinks that she's gotten rid of Michael Myers, and then, like, he kind of just appears in the darkness. Like when I know they used to show that on TV, if those old tube TVs, it loses its effect because all you see is Jamie Lee, then it pans over to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they spent half the budget on the cameras, $20,000 for Donald Pleasant's salary, and another $8,000 to pay Jamie Lee Curtis. This one I found to be very cool, and I'm kind of curious to see how this would have turned out. Both Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing were both offered the role of Sam Loomis, but both turned it down because of the low pay. Lee would later say that was the biggest regret of his entire career.
No.
I can see that. Yeah, definitely.
Peter Cushing, though, I think he was kind of like had that big dick energy because he was just coming off Star Wars. So I think he felt like I'm worth more than $20,000.
Did you know who I am?
I'm Grand Moff
He probably
Tarkin.
didn't think that during. He probably didn't think that during the filming of Star Wars, though. Nobody did.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, he's probably like just one of those British actors. Like, all right, I'm just doing this for a paycheck. I gotta get my kids through school. I'll just take it. Since the movie was shot out of sequence, John Carpenter created a fear meter for Jamie Lee Curtis, which would help her know how scared to be during a particular scene.
Yeah.
And then the last one I had, my wife kind of tipped me off to this one. The character of Lindsay Wallace, the girl that Annie Beckett is babysitting, is played by Kyle Richards, who would later go on to be famous for being one of the stars of the trashy reality show, The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
That's interesting.
Okay.
It's not really,
That's
but
interesting.
I don't know if either one of you guys' wives watch those shows, but those shows are fucking horrible.
No, my wife does not.
Good. My wife watches. They apparently have just pockets of the United States devoted to some of these shows, and she watches like 4 or 5 of them, and they're just fucking horrible. The Martin Scorsese. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was like, sorry. Yeah, no, my wife and I watch comedies and horror movies, but never ever have we ever had the desire to watch The Real Housewives.
Count yourself lucky, man. I mean, my wife and I watch a lot of that same stuff too, but yeah, she just, I don't know, I guess that's her guilty pleasure. Rough. The Martin Scorsese, This Is Cinema Award for the best scene of the movie. Adam, I'll lead off with you. What do you think is the best scene, or at least your favorite scene from Halloween?
I like the climax. It's so rewarding and then so ambiguous at the end too, which John Carpenter apparently likes to do.
Right.
It's honestly just the payoff from the entire movie being so suspenseful, and then you get you think Michael Myers is gone and you're safe, but then you're not.
Yeah, the movie's kind of a slow burn up until that last 20 minutes, and it just goes from like 0 to 100.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
What about you, Matt? What's your favorite scene of the movie?
I mean, probably is there's two I think that I like if I'm allowed to pick two.
Well, we always do an honorable mention.
Okay,
So like
all right,
you can
so
pick your
I'll save
favorite,
that
like
for later.
an honorable mention. So what's your favorite? Then you
My-
give us your honorable mention.
because it has stuck with me ever since I very first saw the movie. But it was the scene where he was like the infamous scene where he's like halfway out from behind the bush and he's just watching like down the street. Ever since I saw that like put this weird like fear in me as a kid, like walking down the street. I'm like, God, there's gonna be some creepy dude with a white mask watching me from behind a bush somewhere.
Dude, like
That
not
happened to me today.
not that, but yeah, I've always felt like that whenever I see like those giant bushes. I always have that. Like,
Yeah.
is there somebody behind there?
It sticks with you, and you're like, it's because of this movie.
Uh
Yeah.
huh. Is that your favorite scene, or
That's probably my favorite scene. Yeah, I'll
that
say
was-
the honorable, but
what's
sorry,
what's the honorable mention? You can go ahead.
it's whenever it's towards the end of the movie when Jamie Lee Curtis is in the closet and he's like bashing through the door and he's got his knife and he's just aimlessly swinging it around the closet. Because that again, that it was a child that kind of sticks with you and you're like, well, I'm never going to go in my closet ever again for any reason. So
Yeah. You think you're safe in the closet,
Yeah.
closet, under the bed, under the covers, but
Yeah.
no, not this time.
Well, what
No.
I found to be like really interesting about that sequence too is she opens up like the window to make it look like she went out the window
yeah. Mm-hmm.
to think
Yeah.
like, and then like he's like, oh no, I'm not falling for this shit, and just like
Yeah.
fucking just starts ripping into that closet. Which, by the way,
Yeah.
I've been to some houses that have that real flimsy, like the shutter style door.
Mhm.
I don't trust them.
Mhm. No, my grandparents' house have that. They have a closet that's got that, and I'm like, yeah, don't like that.
Yeah, I'm not going in there. Sorry, Grandma. You can get your own damn shoes. Well, what we like to do here on the show, Matt, is like we take all the answers and we try to give the award. Not real awards. We're trying to work on something to mail to these people, but they're really weird about giving us like personal addresses and stuff.
Right.
So we haven't been able to do much with it yet. But we try to give out like the award for the best whatever of the category. Best scene in the movie. Mine is also the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just from
That's
everything,
good.
from the minute she and the scene that really gets me is when she's trying to get back into the house after she's been across the street and she can't get in, and Michael Myers is just like methodically walking towards her.
Yeah.
To this day, like I still like last night when I was watching it, I just kind of like sat up my seat like, fuck, he's gonna get her.
Yeah.
It's one of those like when you see like it moves, like run, bitch, run.
You start talking at the screen like they can hear you.
What are you doing?
Yeah. Why'd you lose the fucking keys? You've got like bell
Open the
bottom jeans on.
fucking door.
I seen those pockets, by the way. Those pockets look deep. She shouldn't have lost those keys.
Nope.
But then like they even did something cool, which I had never seen in a horror movie prior to this, like things that were made before this. When Loomis shoots Michael Myers and he falls out the window and then he comes back and he's gone.
Yeah.
I had never seen that like in anything prior to this.
Yeah.
For me though, I think that like the last 20 minutes are like the best part of the movie. I'm kind of inclined to go with that one as the winner of the category. I mean, Matt, yours are awesome. And I'm actually, when you said the bushes scene, I've got something later on that we need to talk about regarding that scene.
Fair enough.
But I don't know. We in agreement the last 20 minutes?
Last 20 minutes for me.
Well, yeah, even Matt, your honorable mention is the closet scene, which is part of that last 20 minutes
For the
too.
last 20 minutes. Yep.
And it's hard to break down, like, for me, one portion of that. It's just like,
There's so much
We
that
like the
happens.
cheat. Yeah, we like to cheat and say it's all of these scenes. It's the whole 20 minutes.
It's the whole 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yep, best scene in the movie is the last 20 minutes to the climax, as Adam said.
Yeah.
We call this next award the Andy Dufresne, the Get Busy Living or Get Busy Dying Award for the best or most quotable line of the movie. I'll go ahead and lead off with mine. I think it's actually Loomis's monologue where he's describing to Sheriff Beckett what kind of human being Michael Myers is.
That's a pretty good one.
I had prepared to do a Donald Pleasance impression. I kind of worked on it a little bit at work. Some people may have thought I was a little crazy, but I just couldn't nail Donald Pleasance, so I'm not going to do it. But you can look it up on YouTube.
On.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
All right.
All right, I got it written down here. I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left. No reason, no conscience, no understanding, even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, of good or evil, right or wrong. I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized what was living behind that boy's eyes was pure and simply evil. I don't know, scale I give it a 4.
I would give it a
Yeah.
5. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Now I'm going to quit my job and be a Donald Pleasance impersonator for the rest of my days. I'm going to Vegas, baby. What about you, Adam? What's your most quotable line from this movie?
I really like the one that you did, but I also like "A death has come to your little town, sheriff." I don't know. It's just such a good one-liner. I also like what is it? It's Halloween. Everyone's entitled to a good scare or something like that.
Sheriff Brackett's a little creepy towards Lori and Addie. He was, "Hey, Lori, we're all entitled to a little scare." I'm like, Sheriff, come on, dude. That's your teenage daughter's best friend. Don't be getting fresh with her like that, dude. You're a lawman. Matt, what about you, buddy? What's your most quotable or favorite line of the movie?
It's I really like when Loomis says, what is it? He said, "You must be ready for him. If you don't, it's your funeral."
That's good.
Yeah. I think that because that kind of like sums up the whole movie, and in my opinion, in that one little line, because that's literally what it is. Is like if you're not prepared, like you're done. Like he's gonna get you, he's gonna kill you, he's gonna do whatever. Like you have to prepare yourself.
Mm-hmm. I'm giving it to that because that is a fucking cold-blooded line, and I would fucking like if someone told me that, like, all right, Jen, kids, packed shit, we're going.
Yep, 100%.
We're moving out of this shit town. But I'm prepared to give it to that too. That's an awesome line, and it was I have a honorable mention that was a part of it too. So, nice job, Matt. You're a natural at this show, and like, it's like we'll have to have you on again if we don't ruin your career.
No. Well, this might be my new career. You never know. I might have found my calling.
All right. That's what we aim to do here. Is like if you don't know what you want to do in life yet, we want you to be part of a real shitty podcast. All right, this next category is we were calling this the best line of the movie, but we felt it didn't work in that context, so we decided to make this its own separate category. Matt, are you a fan of the Fast and Furious franchise?
I'm going to say yes. I'm not proud of it, but I am.
No, dude. I am in the same boat, and as a matter of fact, I think I just found the person I'm going to do some Fast and Furious movies with.
Ooh, yeah. Please do.
We're calling this next category the Paul Walker I Said Forget About a Award for most unintentionally hilarious or bad line of the movie. I have one. I don't think it's supposed to be funny, but it kind of cracks me up. But I don't know if you guys had anything that like kind of made you cringe or kind of laugh when you're not supposed to.
Trying to think here.
I couldn't think of anything from this movie for this category, to be honest.
I'll just throw mine out there, and it's not so much the line itself, but it's the response that I'm guessing Dr. Loomis is in his 40s or 50s here. His reaction after he said it is when the kids try to go up to the Myers house, and then he kind of hides in the bushes. He goes, "Hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there." And then he kind of pulls back, and he's just so proud of himself that he scared the shit out of these fucking kids. When there's a killer in the town, he just kind of seems to be very proud of himself for fucking with those kids. So that's mine.
I'm good with giving it to that because
I'm gonna give it to that one. Yeah, because I never thought about that until you brought it up.
Yeah, I never really paid attention to it until I watched it the other night, and I was like, man, like he's fucking like just full of himself that he fucked with these kids and he just took off running. And I don't know if it's a distraction, like, hey, I need to get my mind off this for a minute, that there's a fucking killer on the loose, but I'm gonna fuck with these kids. Next award, we call this the McLovin. This is the best supporting or scene-stealing performance of the movie. So it can't be Jamie Lee Curtis. It can't be Donald Pleasance since they're featured in the movie too much. But somebody that might have a couple scenes, maybe like a line of dialogue, but just they kind of stand out. So I don't know. Adam, do you got a contender for this category?
I really didn't have a contender for this category, and the reason being is because I don't like any of the other characters. I really don't. Like, there's nobody likable in this movie that stood out to me, honestly.
Adam's kind of onto something there too, because it's one of those things, like you said, like the only characters you remember are the main characters in the main cast, and I don't think it's because, I mean, they are, so good, but it's just a lot of the other characters, in my opinion, and like Adam's, like I think they're just somewhat forgettable, and I hate to say that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them die off. Mm-hmm. They're disposable, literally, and just
I'm glad you said that. I don't like Annie or Linda either. Like the whole sequence where she's trying, like when Michael Myers is standing in the ghost outfit, she's getting on my nerves. I'm like, dude, come on, just get this over with. And Annie's kind of a bitch, especially to Laurie.
Yeah,
she is.
I mean, I don't know if everybody has friends like this. I know I had friends like this that, like, you grow up with them your entire life, and it's kind of like they're assholes, but they're your asshole. Like, since you've known them for so long, you've, like, created this relationship with somebody. It's like you kind of overlook the fact they're a piece of shit human being.
It's just like, I know he's a jerk, but he's my jerk. It's fine.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of what Linda and Annie are to Laurie. My personal pick, though, guy's only in here for like maybe 2 minutes, but when Loomis is going to the Myers gravesite and that guy is telling the story, the guy runs the graveyard, he starts telling this really fucking horrible story, and then Loomis just cuts him off. I kind of wanted to hear the end of the story.
Yeah, see, now we need, that's what they needed to cut into the movie for the TV. That's the whole story. Just fill in the TV spot.
What about a spinoff idea? That guy, an anthology series where he just basically tells like these fucking really macabre stories about how people got buried in the Haddonfield Cemetery.
Yep. I'm down for like a episodic short series, like on a streaming service. Just give me that. Just he's gonna talk into the camera about how some dude died. And,
TikTok videos. I mean, that's where kids are going nowadays. TikTok. Yeah, just create like a couple minute TikTok short. Yeah, this guy right here, he was an ice cream man. He ran a soda shop at the edge of town, and he got sick and fed up one day, and he poisoned his entire family. Put cyanide in the chocolate malts. Found the family 2 weeks later after a neighbor noticed a horrible stench coming out of the basement.
And then there you go, a whole episode right there.
Yeah, TikTok video, 5 minutes. Boom. 1 million views. I also was going to give it to Nick Castle. He's the guy who plays Michael Myers in The Suit.
Yeah. I mean...
Because I mean,
he's not really doing much, but I mean, that's a pretty formidable character. And,
Yeah.
and plus, I don't know,
As,
he just looks like he towers over everybody. So
as a friend of the show, Mark would say he stands around a lot. It's pretty cool.
well, no, yeah, a friend of the show, Mark, would definitely though shit on this entire movie. Like, well, it's a good movie, but I think you give it too much credit.
Yeah.
And just proceed to shit on it for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, at least Michael Myers stands around a lot, and it's really cool.
Yeah, but I think you're right though, man. There's just not a lot going on with like the supporting characters. I mean,
Yeah.
Sheriff Brackett kind of comes off as creepy in the beginning, and then he kind of becomes inept later on.
Yeah. I mean, probably one of the worst law enforcement officials in cinema.
Well, save those thoughts. I have a category coming up for that. So I think let's just go ahead and give the McLovin to the guy that runs the cemetery.
Yeah.
Simply because I think we're on to something.
Yeah, because I mean, all the other characters are just bleh. And
Yeah.
I think that lends to what I was saying earlier, like the simplicity of the movie is what makes it great. So you don't really need a bunch of characters muddying up that simplicity.
Good call. All right, whatever your name is who runs the cemetery, he's probably dead now. That guy was like in his 60s when this movie came out, so we'll send the McLovin to your family. This next category, I really want to dive into this a little bit. We call this Unsolved Mysteries of the Movie. This is something that happens either like you're watching this and you're like, they never explain it, or you kind of wonder what happens after the events of the movie. I'm just going to throw this out there. How the fuck does Michael Myers know how to drive?
Damn it.
That was the one I was going to.
Yeah. Or that one, or along, like to bounce off of that, like where did that car go? Like, did they ever explain, like, so he's just driving this car around but then just disappears?
Yeah, they don't. It's like the police officers are like not looking for the stolen vehicle.
Right. It's like you have a stolen police car.
Yeah.
Right. It's like not only is he driving it, but it's in one scene and then it's just gone forever. Nobody looks for it. Nobody tracks it down. You never see it again.
Yeah. I'm just wondering how no one's seen a Illinois, like it's not like, I know it's a government agency, isn't it? Like the mental institution system in Illinois. It has like a logo on it.
Yeah, it's like it's a brown like station wagon.
Precursor to the Griswold family roadster, I believe. But I've tried. I spent half of my free time at work just trying to dissect how he knows how to drive.
Yeah.
It's never explained. He never does it again. I don't think in any of the other movies, to my knowledge.
Yeah, I think going forward, if they reboot the series again, I think he's just going to take an Uber, which I need to know how the fuck he can master an iPhone, but we'll just get to that when they do it.
More potholes.
But yeah, I tried. The only thing I could figure is maybe his dad, like, kind of put him, like, sat with him and kind of showed him a thing or two, but he was 6 when he killed his sister, and I don't think that's going to really stick with you.
So to bounce off of what everyone else is saying, he drove the car. Where'd the car go? How did he know how to get back home? He was 6, and then he was put in a mental institution.
That's true.
And he hadn't been anywhere else. You actually have to like go places and memorize where you're going to actually, be able to drive and direct yourself without a GPS. And he just manages to get back to what he knew.
So, there's my home.
Well, he must have map quested it. And I'm sure people listen to this show like may or may not even know what I'm talking about. But there was a thing before your phone where you had to print off directions. And
but this so more plot holes. How do you know how to use a computer? Right?
Fuck, we're just like, before we know it, we're gonna boil this movie down to like what were you fucking thinking?
Like, why was he wearing that shade of like whatever? Like,
yeah, like is it a certain blue that mechanic shop had, or like where did he get those overalls? Did he kill a mechanic before he got to Haddonfield? Did he stop and get gas somewhere? How did he pay for the gas?
Did he kill the attendant at the gas station? But then again, how do you know how to pump the gas to put in the car?
And how? Yeah. What are the chances that those overalls were an exact fit?
Yeah.
And why, if they fit him, the man that he took those from had to be a fairly big gentleman. I'm assuming he knows how to handle himself. Did he put up a fight?
Yeah.
But could you imagine going up to like a BP and just seeing like Michael Myers pumping his gas, waving at you with a knife in his hand? Like, no, all right.
Or what if like he prepaid, and like he put like he gave him like $20, and like he only used like $14. And he went back in like, can I get my $6 back?
I can just imagine him standing in the line at Speedway, and then he sees like a candy bar, and he just grabs it. Like, yeah, I'm hungry.
Gotta go kill him later.
Oh, you know what? If he would have bought a Snickers, I bet all these killings would have been completely avoidable, because it's like he just needed the Snickers bar.
He would have fed his hunger.
Yeah. Well, Matt, here on the show, when we come up with like an unsolved mystery that we can't really figure out, we just go with the old answer of movie magic.
Yes.
Yep, it's movie magic.
Yep. There was a line that I used to use with some of my friends that was just because movie.
Yeah.
Like, there's no real rhyme or reason. It's just because movie. And
yep. All right. We're stealing that, just so you know.
Okay, yeah, that's what we're going to call it now. Just because you said just because movie?
Yeah.
Just because movie.
All right, we're going to name it after you. I do smell some crossover appeal, though. Now that Universal owns the rights to Halloween and Michael Myers does know how to drive, put him in the new Fast and Furious movie. Make him the villain.
Imagine Vin Diesel going up against Mike Myers.
Well, you know what will happen in that?
The most outlandish thing.
No, not in that franchise. But what will happen is he'll be the villain in like there are 10, and then they said they're not making any more after this. But then they said that they were. He'll be the villain in like, I don't know if they're calling it 10 Part 2 or what. But then like in the finale, he'll be part of Vin Diesel's family. And at the end of the movie, you're going to see like Vin Diesel and Han and John Cena and Tyrese and Ludacris, and then Michael Myers all drinking a Corona at a backyard barbecue.
But then one of them is going to have the curse of porn.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I thought of another plot hole that just kind of, I don't know. Were there any like trick-or-treaters?
Yeah, when Annie, or not Annie, but Lori's walking home, they start trick-or-treat super early at Haddonfield.
Okay.
Because, I mean, yeah, their kids out at like 3 o'clock. Those are the fucking go-getters.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then when he follows Annie to the Wallace house, you can see a few of them walk past him as he's walking up towards the house. So yeah, you see some trick-or-treaters out there.
Okay, that's right. I remember now. I just thought about it. I was like, because even the scene, where like, late in the evening or later in the evening or whatever, like it's dark out. And I'm like, I don't think you see any trick-or-treaters on the street or anything.
Yeah, I think that's why when Lori's banging on the next door neighbor's house to help her, and they click on the light, which is a fucked up thing to do. I mean, like, if someone's banging on your door, like, pleading for help, and they just, shut the light back off, like, fuck her. Like, she can deal with it with her own. But I think that's why they did that, is because they thought, like, someone was playing, like, a Halloween trick on them.
Yeah.
But, awesome. Well, thanks for giving us a new reason to like dissect movie mysteries now, just because movie.
Just because movie.
This next category, we call this the most 1978 moment of the movie. So something that it's like a moment or something you see in the movie that could only be in 1978. My contender is Sheriff Brackett's sideburns for a government official.
Yeah.
Those are some fucking mutton chops. Like I've had some pretty elaborate sideburn designs in my life, and I've never had anything like that. Those things, like, he could almost be confused for Neil Young.
Yeah, I was about to say the hairstyles and the clothes they were wearing are just super 70s.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
at first I had the use of the rotary, like the phone where you had to like take your finger in the number you want to dial, and you had to do it all the way down. At first, I'm like, okay, that one. But then when I watched it again last night, I'm like, nope, it's got to be them fucking sideburns.
Is it weird that my parents had a rotary phone as their main phone for a really long time?
Nope.
Because I remember dialing on a rotary phone all the time.
My grandparents had a rotary phone up until probably 95.
Okay.
Just stubbornly refused to get a cordless phone. Like this. I was really embarrassed to like if one of my friends needed to use the phone, like, yeah, it's right over there. And it's, they pick up this phone. It's like what the hell?
What do I do?
My son and I found that we were, during the pandemic, him and I started getting into like collecting like sports cards, like baseball cards, football cards and stuff. And we were going through my mom's garage, and we found my grandparents' old rotary phone. And like, I had a hell of a time trying to explain to my son, like, yeah, the time you used to have to do that to dial a phone number out. Now it's just like you're on a touch screen, but he's like, what's this? It's got 9 numbers on it. Like, son, that's how people used to call one another back in the day.
Took
There's
forever
a
to
really,
And if you needed privacy, that's why the cord is like 70 feet. You could literally take it to the end of the block. So we're just in agreement then, just the 70s hairstyles in general is the most 1978 thing. Yeah, this is, I guess, not the greatest movie to do this category with, since it's so old. But yeah, like what we'll do is like whatever year the movie's made, we'll just like try to find something that isn't a thing anymore. So that's where this category comes from.
like Alien is a futuristic movie, but the command line prompts on the computers are definitely
They're all like Windows DOS, like.
Yeah.
Well, when we did the thing a couple of weeks ago, which you can hear on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, cheap plug of the show, the computer system that they used to show the model of like how the alien or this, affects people, and like, yeah, it's like that's very 1982.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, I didn't get to say this during our fun facts section, but that's the movie they're watching is the Thing from Another World, 51.
Yeah, I noticed that. I didn't really put 2 and 2 together until after we had talked about The Thing. And when I was doing the research, like usually when you look it up, you get like the font of the movie.
Yeah.
And like I see now, I was like, oh fuck, that's The Thing.
Yep.
That is, and don't condone me for it. That is one of the classic horror movies I have yet to see in my lifetime. Because I always like see it in stores. I'm like, oh shit, I need to see that. And then I get home and completely forget about it. I'm like, oh, there's Halloween. Oh, there's like my brain just goes to those. But every time I see it in the store, I'm like, damn it, I need to see that.
No worries.
Speaking of The Thing, I have 2 hot takes for this.
Okay. Well, Cole, friend of the show, a couple weeks ago, he shit on every 80s movie except for The Thing. So that shows you how great that movie is. Yeah, you definitely did check it out. Because I have a Carpenter, like basically his Mount Rushmore is Escape from New York, Halloween, The Thing, and Big Trouble in Little China. Like those are the 4. Like if I could only watch 4 John Carpenter movies for the rest of my life, those would be the 4.
Yep.
All good choices.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I don't have my show notes, but yeah, if you got the cock or peacock to the common folk, you can watch it on there. So readily available. Cool. at your fingertips on the cock. Just put your fingers on the cock, select, type in the thing, and it'll be there.
Get your thing on the cock.
Yes. Watch the thing on the cock.
Yeah. On the streaming service, not like your actual member. Like that'd be we don't want anything bad to happen to you.
Google search the thing on the cock and see what comes up.
Yeah. I stole that from, I forget where I got that from, but I've kind of taken it as my own. It's like when you get like a stray animal, like it belongs to somebody, like this dog's got a collar and it looks well kempt. I'm going to give it some food and it doesn't leave. And they're like, okay, well, looks like you're staying here with me, fella. It's kind of what I've done with the cock. I've taken the cock as my own.
Now you got to name your next dog the cock.
I don't think that's going to fly with two small children. I do not want my 4-year-old daughter saying, come here, cock, come here. This next category, we are still trying to find a corporate sponsor for this category. We have reached out to Cracker Barrel. We've reached out to Applebee's, Waffle House. Still have not heard back from them. I actually sent them a message on their Facebook page. Have yet to hear anything back. But this week we're going to go with the White Castle. Presents the hot off the skillet takes for your hottest take regarding this movie. So White Castle, if you hear us, listen to the show, we would love to have you sponsor this category. Feel free to reach out. My email address, the show's email address is in the show description. Hit us up. We'd love to do business with you. What is, Matt, do you have a hot take regarding this movie?
And we've covered pretty much everything. Come back to me on that one.
Okay, Adam, I know you're chomping at the bit here to tell us your hot takes regarding this. What do you have for us?
My hot takes are the sliders with the extra onions and habanero cheese for this White Castle hot take.
You hear that? You hear that, White Castle?
My first hot take is a simple one. So I'm going to start off with that. And everybody's going to hate me for it. And I'm not degrading this movie whatsoever, Russ. So don't think that I am. I like The Thing better than I like Halloween.
Well, I think you said that on the Thing episode.
I did. But the reason being is I think, and this is the hot take, I think it is more suspenseful than Halloween.
Oh, I mean, I'd agree with that because, Matt, I know you haven't seen this yet, so earmuffs. But, yeah, I mean, the thing is just, like, it's meant to create suspense, so, because it's just a group of people. It's just them. There's, like, no outside forces or whatever. It's just that group of people inside of a remote location. So.
Right. But I think that's what Halloween does best, horror-wise, is Michael Myers standing around a lot creates the suspense of the movie. That's what that's the real horror of the movie. You kind of get a dopamine rush after you see everyone dead, because that's the payoff at the end of the suspense. I don't think you get that in The Thing. I think that it just keeps building and building. So. Yeah. That is my hot take for The Thing being better.
Well, yeah, let's not spoil The Thing. Matt, homework assignment this weekend. The Thing.
The Thing. All right.
Yeah, get back to us. Let us know what you think of it. I would actually would like to hear what you think of The Thing. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I need to get around to watching it. I need to stop putting it off. It needs to be my next one for sure.
Yeah. My hot take is I think with this movie and how it created a franchise that not so much with us, but like with younger people, that it kind of, the sequels and the reboots have kind of like lessened the impact of this one.
Mm-hmm. Well, I totally agree with that. I don't think that's a hot take at all. I think that is completely accurate.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I still think this is my favorite horror movie of all time. But when I talk to younger people about it, it's just like, and they always go back to like, oh, I seen H2O was the first time I'd ever seen like a Michael Myers movie, or Resurrection, or even the newer ones. And they don't really go back to this. And I know some like younger people have a thing about watching anything made before a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I think just how crappy a lot of those sequels have been, like, it just really lessens the impact of how substantial this is. I mean, it birthed, like I said at the beginning, it birthed a whole era of horror, which, I mean, basically it got to the point where there was so much of these slasher movies come out that eventually they killed the genre out, and it took a movie spoofing all that to bring horror back. You know what I mean? So I mean, I don't know if that's really a hot take, but that's all I could come up with. Because I mean, to me, the movie is pretty close to being a perfect horror movie for me. I prefer a suspenseful horror movie over like just jump scares and gore.
Same. Yeah.
So yeah, maybe not really a hot take, but Matt, I really hope you've got a good one here to get White Castle on board for us.
I've got two.
Okay.
Now I think about it. In my opinion, I think H2O was painfully average. So in the whole entire franchise. And then the third installment, Season of the Witch, was a complete masterpiece.
Oh, dude, I
love that movie.
I do too, and I think that's originally how these were supposed to be. Was like an anthology series. Like each movie was supposed to be a different take, but Michael Myers became so popular that they had the. So I think 2 came out in, was it 80 or 79? I know it came out shortly.
I think it was 79.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
because it takes place like right after.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Season of the Witch. Shout out to my homie Tom Atkins. I really hope to run into him at a convention at some point. I fucking love that dude. He made a movie called Night of the Creeps that I was introduced to, about 10 years ago, that like has become essential Halloween viewing for me. He says a fucking line that just cracks me up every time.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
Yeah, it's one of those good bad movies.
I love good bad movies.
Well, there's a reason we asked you on this show then. So, but yeah, like Halloween 3 is awesome. I think that was like really the last good one until they did that reboot in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, not a hot take, but a perfect take.
Yes.
So well done. Did you have another one, or was that the only one you had?
Those were the two. Yeah, I thought H2O was probably one of the most average or worst ones in the whole series, and not a lot of people talk about it, but the third Season of the Witch was amazing.
I have noticed that's starting to get a lot more love in the horror community in recent years. I've started to notice more fans of that coming out of the woodwork. Because I know it used to be like, oh, Halloween 3, that movie sucks. It doesn't have Michael Myers in it.
Yeah, but now people are actually watching it for it being a movie and not being like, well, where's Michael Myers? And like the movie is amazing when you watch it has its own, like you said, has its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe next Halloween we'll come back and do Halloween 3.
I will be on board for that.
All right. I will send out the invitations here shortly. They'll be just like wedding invitations, except you open it up, and it'll be Tom Atkins' face.
So it was like 3D, like pop-up cards.
Yeah, or that, or I'll send it with the red-blue 3D glasses, and you have to put them on before you read it.
I do have one more hot take.
All right, you're trying to get White Castle on board. I love it. What's up?
I am. So the Curse of Thorn, the whole reason why, the killings take place, I think it's dumb. I think it's awful. Because before, like in this movie in Halloween, you get Loomis saying like, "Yeah, he's just evil. Those black eyes, he's just pure evil. That's why he's doing it." And I think that's way cooler than it being like a curse. Oh, he's meant to do it. That's stupid.
Well, that was established in the later movies, wasn't it?
It was. It was.
Well,
It is.
I don't even consider those as canon.
Okay.
Well, the way that the timeline jumps around too, it's like, if I'm not mistaken, the newest Halloween, or like the new series of Halloween movies, are supposed to be the direct sequels to the original.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, outside of the Cunningham kid, that's usually the canon I'm rolling with.
Yeah.
Not no curses or any shit like that. It's just the dude's fucking evil.
Yep. That's so much cooler.
Yep. He doesn't need a reason. He just is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I think it works so well, is the fact that he has no reasons. Like, why is he doing this? And it just like, you always have that in the back of your head, like, why is he going on this rampage? And I think it makes it much more effective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, we don't acknowledge anything from 1, 2, 3, and then 18. All the other shit. They made it like a Halloween 4. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, never heard of it. H2O, that's water. That's not a movie.
You made that up. All right, the last category is the Hall of Fame section. We create like a topic or some kind, and if we created a Couch Potato Podcast Hall of Fame, which you can make that a reality. We do accept Apple Pay, Venmo, Cash App. We want to make this thing a living, breathing thing that you can walk into and visit all this stuff and see all this cool things. So if you want to make that a reality, please hit us up on email. I'll send you all the info. You can make a cash donation. We will put a brick in the building with your name on it and your honor for your contribution. Please do so. But we just kind of come up with nifty little categories or like ideas if they were to be a Couch Potato Podcast Hall of Fame. Would this particular idea go into it? So first one is the final girl in a horror movie. I would say Laurie Strode is kind of like the Babe Ruth of the final girls.
Yeah.
The survivor.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty much between her and then Sidney Prescott in Scream.
Yeah, I would agree with that too.
Yeah, I was gonna say Sydney. Yeah,
they're a top of that category for sure. Let's see. Holiday themed movies. You can also include Christmas movies, Easter movies, Arbor Day movies.
Yeah, I think this is a little bit lower on the totem pole for holiday themed movies because you're not really focused on the holiday that's taking place, even though it's named after the holiday. You're more focused on the crazy killer guy, but yeah.
Well, I mean, I think the movie is synonymous with the holiday. I mean, like we've all said that we watch this during the season. Yeah. It's essential viewing.
It is essential viewing, and it is a Halloween movie, and it happens, the trick-or-treaters are out and having a good time during the movie, but what I'm saying is it doesn't focus on the holiday.
Yeah.
So it happens during the holiday. I guess it's kind of like Die Hard. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? So that's why I'm giving it to this, because Die Hard is a Christmas movie. This is a Halloween movie. It's literally named Halloween. It's just, it's not Halloween focused. I don't know.
So you don't put it in like the esteemed category of like A Christmas Story or Hop.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah.
And that's the only time I'll ever reference Hop in anything is on that joke. What about you, Matt? Is this Hall of Fame holiday movie?
Oh yeah, I would say for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you said, it's paved the way for a lot of the slasher movies that we know today. And I think almost every one of them draws inspiration from this movie in some way, shape, or form. And with it being like it's kind of like, at least for me, it's kind of like watching like the Santa Claus on Christmas. Like it just fits the whole vibe of the whole holiday.
Yeah.
And I think that's really kind of like my take on like I think Halloween should definitely be in that for sure.
Inept elected officials. I have Sheriff Brackett, and I have the mayor in Jaws as probably the two of the most inept government officials in movie history.
This is what you were talking about. Yeah, I like that. I would also go with the EPA representative in Ghostbusters.
Yeah, which
He's pretty good.
you can listen to on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Sheriff Brackett basically, like, if I were Sheriff Brackett, Loomis tells me, like, dude, this guy is the epitome of fucking evil. Like, he is the devil incarnate. I'm calling the fucking National Guard. I'm shutting Halloween trick or treat down. I don't care if it incites a panic or not, but he kind of like, let's wait and see how this plays out. Kind of like the mayor in Jaws is like, you know what? I know there's a shark killing people out there, but God damn it, it's the 4th of July, and this is a big, big money opportunity for this town.
We need those summer dollars.
That Kittner boy is a small sacrifice to get Main Street paved.
Yeah, those are both pretty good ones. It is funny though too because you mentioned the sheriff. I'm just recalling some of the stuff. Wasn't it like so like he reported like there was the theft of like somebody who stole the masks and everything, but like wasn't like he said like it just happened or something like that, but they show Michael earlier already having the mask, so I'm like,
well, they said it happened 3 hours before.
Yeah, wouldn't it be like the alarm would have been on for like hours or something until he was like investigating?
Yep. And his go-to is just like he blamed it on kids.
Right.
Yeah, like I really hope Sheriff Brackett did not win. I'm sure he probably retired. I mean, his daughter got fucking killed for crying out loud, but I really hope he doesn't get reelected sheriff of Haddonville because he's fucking horrible.
Mm-hmm.
When you said the scene where Michael Myers is behind the grass, the bushes.
The bushes, yeah.
Movie characters used in popular internet memes. Because there's two from Halloween. There's that one. It's usually meant to describe like somebody that's creeping on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And then my personal favorite, I use this on my social medias. It's when Jamie Lee Curtis is like scared to death and like she thinks Michael Myers is dead. But then you see the image of Michael Myers like in the shadows. And it's like June, the year's half over and it sucks. And then but then it's like, you've got the rest of the year. Like, I know, it's like, I think one's like, I think we're done with COVID. And then like, it's, Michael Myers, like new COVID variant.
I saw one where it was like Jamie and it said like, I think my therapy sessions are actually working. And then it was like my sleep paralysis demon that's back behind me.
Yeah. That one is fucking awesome. And I use it all the time. And then I know that he first popped up in the where he's hiding behind the bushes when it's like you're creeping on somebody or like you're kind of being stalkerish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but I'd say for sure because I think he's got at least 2 or 3 really good ones that have been used for him. I'm sure I'm probably missing like a ton, but
and I can't really think of any others. I mean, like. I can't think of any like from the Friday the 13th franchise or like the Nightmare on Elm Street or anything like that. Not off the top of my head.
Yeah. The only one that even movie characters in general, the only other one that comes to mind is the Ray Liotta laughing from Goodfellas for anything like someone says something like so stupid that you have to laugh about it.
Yeah. Or the face that Willem Dafoe makes in the back of the car.
Yeah.
I've seen that everywhere too.
That's another one too. Is Willem Dafoe from Spider-Man? It's like I'm somewhat of a blank myself.
Yeah, yeah.
But I would say so, just because like
Yeah.
for me personally, I use the Michael Myers in the shadows quite a bit.
Yeah.
And my last one, Adam, I really hope that you're wearing sweatpants because I know you are a big proponent of movie scores, and we don't talk about them enough on the show. Movie scores. Does Halloween crack the Hall of Fame for that?
Yes. But it's probably top 5.
Let me spin it a little bit. A character's theme. Because I think like the iconic, like that dun, 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 that's, I think, Michael Myers' theme.
Yeah. Also, like 2 or 3 note themes. Like you got Jaws, and then you got this. What other 2 or 3 note theme can you think of?
Well, I'm letting you take the wheel on this, and Matt, you're a musician, so you can definitely chime in on this. I have no area of expertise in this at all. Just like, oh, that sounds cool. Let's run with it.
No, yeah, I mean, you're definitely right. Like I mean, I can't say everybody, but probably 98% of the human population who is anywhere, even if you've never seen the movie and you hear that song, you're like, I know who that is the theme for. It's kind of, again, referring back to it because it's my other favorite franchise, but like Friday the 13th, it's not really music, but like that, like if you hear that, you know that that's Jason. Like, you know that is from that franchise. Or like Adam said too, like with Jaws, like the 2-note thing, like it is definitely like you don't have to be a fan of the series or the movies to know where that's from.
Right.
And that speaks huge volumes for the composers, for, you know, people like John Carpenter and everything, like to create such an iconic soundtrack that almost everybody knows where it's from. Like that, there's not very many composers and artists and musicians out there that can do that.
Yeah, and the score is almost as, if not as iconic as the movie itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it falls in like with, you know, like the Star Wars theme or anything like that. Like you may have never seen a Star Wars movie in your life, but if you hear that opening cutscene theme song, like you know exactly where that is from.
Or even the Imperial March, like you almost know, like, yep, that's Darth Vader.
Yep.
That's the thing is like to be a good cinematic composer, you need to be good at theming and to weave those melodies in what you're composing because a certain group of notes can make you feel a certain way and make you associate those groups of notes with like the Imperial March, Darth Vader. Like I associate that with Darth Vader. That's his theme, you know. And then if we are, you know, 3 movies down the line and there's something that alludes to Darth Vader and that plays, you immediately go there. And I think that when somebody is a good composer for cinema, they are supposed to be good at theming music towards whatever it is we're seeing on the screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I took the opportunity. I know you always love talking about the musical scores and that we have a musician as a guest. I thought it'd be a perfect segue.
I love talking about the scores in movies and stuff because the score of a movie can, I mean, outside of the acting and the plot, but like that's probably like the 3rd biggest pillar in any movie because that can completely destroy the whole atmosphere, the whole tension, the whole everything of a scene just by playing the wrong song in the background.
Yeah,
I mean, even stuff like in The Dark Knight, like it's nothing over the top, but that creates the whole tension and the whole cinematic feel watching that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you've got Adam excited right now.
Oh, Hans Zimmer is great. Love Hans Zimmer.
I love I love of movie soundtracks for sure.
Well, Adam, you'd be pleased to know that I when we start anew at the beginning of the year, we're doing a music category for the movies that we do.
Okay, I'm down for that.
I know you are. Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up. But Matt, it was awesome having you on. I know we've talked about this for quite a long time, and I know this episode got delayed a couple times. Who would have thought that dressing up as John Cena for Trick or Treat and 40-degree weather would be a bad idea?
Who would have thought?
Then Adam, kids apparently don't like pasta with red sauce.
Yeah, just gonna Toss their cookies.
Yeah.
Toss their
So
pasta.
we'll aim to we'll make sure that we get checked out by a physician before we ask you on the next time, so we don't have to push them back.
And so I'm happy to be here. I thank you guys for having me on.
Hey, not a problem, man. Well, you are definitely welcome back. If any movie comes to mind you think it'd be cool to talk about, we are an open book here. We do anything except for the cinema of the Dutch. We will not touch Dutch cinema. But yeah, anything else? Yeah, just shoot us a line. We'll be thrilled to do it. So thanks for coming on, man. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you again,
before we
guys.
go, anything you want to plug away.
Of course, I'm obviously going to plug my band. Again, it's Faith in Failure. You guys can check us out on all streaming platforms. We do metalcore music. So for fans of like Avenged Sevenfold or Ice Nine Kills, or Black Veil Brides or Motionless in White, anything kind of in that genre, that feel, you guys would definitely love our music. We just released a new song earlier this year. It's called Hero Part 2, so definitely be sure to check that out. And again, I said thank you to anyone who supports us and any future fans that we may have.
And I will put in the show description a link to you Spotify guys, you Apple, Spotify, your biggest.
Spotify's probably, I think, where we get the most traffic for sure. But yes, anywhere in the world you guys stream music, we are on.
Yeah. I'll put a link to your guys' Spotify page. That way you can check out all the awesome stuff they've got on there right now. But yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it. You're more than welcome back. Hopefully people don't look at you in a different light after being on this show. Like, you lowered yourself to that, but okay.
It's just jealousy if they do.
All right. Well, hey, they're always welcome to come on too. So, all right, guys. Well, before we go, be sure to follow the show. We are on all social media platforms. We are on Facebook, Twitter, or X, or whatever the fuck it's called this week. We're on Instagram. We're on Threads. I am in the process of learning how to do TikTok videos, so we're going to start uploading TikToks here very soon. So we will be on TikTok soon. Shoot us an email. Let us know how awesome Matt was on the show, how horrible of a host I am, any show ideas, thoughts, whatever. You can email us at the show. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you dug what we did here on the show, please feel free to leave us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. We would greatly appreciate it, and it helps support the show. So until next time, we will talk to you guys later.